Okay, I hope you can see the text here. Okay. So, yesterday we were on. I had just finished this first speech by Lady Bracknell. Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only people who can't get into it do that. So people who can't get into society or cannot attain social positions, important social positions, they speak of society in a disparaging way. To Cecily, dear child, of course you know that Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. But I do not approve of mercenary marriages. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune of any kind, but I never dreamed for a moment of allowing that to stand in my way. Well, I suppose I must give my consent. So, in this speech, we can see that it's a, uh kind of a very funny and ridiculous statement that she is informing Cecily that Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. So obviously he is a profligate kind of a man, and we can understand that this is a kind of a paradox. So how can a person depend upon his debts? So that is not possible at all. So if one has debts, if one has made debts, he or she will not be in any way able to sort of survive. So that's the point here. It's a kind of a ridiculous statement by Lady Bracknell. And also, she's saying that I do not approve of mercenary marriages. Marriages that are arranged just for the sake of acquiring money. So she's obviously saying that, but since she has heard from Jack that Cecily has a quite a good income, so she has decided to give her consent. Thank you, Aunt Augusta. Cecily, you may kiss me. Kisses her. Thank you, Lady Bracknell. You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future. So she gives Cecily permission to address her as Aunt Augusta. Thank you, Aunt Augusta. The marriage, I think, had better take place quite soon. Thank you, Aunt Augusta. Thank you, Aunt Augusta. So both of them, they are quite happy that Lady Bracknell has given them her consent. Now, Lady Bracknell says, to speak frankly, I am not in favor of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of finding out each other's character before marriage, which I think is never advisable. So, this is another statement that, you know, it means that Lady Bracknell actually means that if one has a long engagement, that is, if one is two people are engaged to be married for a long period of time, they, of course, they then start to uh, know about the negative points in each other's characters and the faults. So she is not in favor of long engagements. So she wants the marriage to take place quickly. Now, a problem arises when Jack says, I beg your pardon for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she cannot marry without my consent until she comes of age. That consent I absolutely decline to give. So now there is a problem. Though Aunt Augusta or Lady Bracknell has been persuaded to give her consent, so the matter was progressing quite well. But now Jack says that this engagement is impossible because he's Cecily's guardian. Cecily is his protege. That is, she is actually under his tutelage. And obviously, if the guardian does not give the consent of marriage, then she will not be able to marry, and she does not come of age. She is not uh, going to attain the age of maturity. She has not attained the age of maturity, which would qualify her to get married. So here, there is this problem, as you can see here, and this comes as a kind of an obstacle, kind of a conflict. So let us read. Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say, an ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire? So, again, a funny statement, paradoxical statement. She is saying that he is an eligible young man in every sense. He has no possessions, but he has the appearance of having possessions. So obviously, ostentatiously, by the looks, he has got everything. So what more do you desire? It pains me very much to have to speak frankly to you, Lady Bracknell, Jack is saying, about your nephew, but the fact is that I do not approve at all of his moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful. So now he is going to reveal about this Bunbury business. Uh, and Algernon and Cecily look at him in indignant amazement. So they cannot believe that he is going to spoil the party. Lady Bracknell, untruthful. My nephew Algernon, impossible. He is an Oxonian. So she is not going to uh, listen to any such negative comments, because he is an Oxonian, meaning an Oxonian is a person who is a pupil or who has graduated from the University of Oxford. So the University of Oxford is obviously an age-old and prestigious educational institution, and so since Algernon is a pupil of that university, he is above any kind of reproach. I fear there can be no possible doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London on an important question of romance, you obtained admission to my house by means of the false pretense of being my brother. So Algernon had pretended to be Jack's brother who lives in Paris, that is Ernest. So he took the name of Ernest, and he took this opportunity of arriving at the manor house when Jack was absent. And Jack is saying exactly that. Under an assumed name, he drank. I have just been informed by my butler an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brut 89. So it is a very important, you know, kind of expensive wine. So a wine I was specially reserving for myself. So obviously, Algernon has uh, drunk that wine, which Jack had preserved for himself. So he's doubly indignant. Firstly, he had assumed an imaginary kind of a uh, name, and now he has also committed a crime by drinking that wine. Continuing his disgraceful deception, he succeeded in the course of the afternoon in alienating the affections of my only ward. So he's saying that his behavior was absolutely disgraceful, and he in course of time he succeeded in alienating the affections, meaning he succeeded in diverting the affections of Cecily towards himself. Uh, he subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single muffin. So, another crime. So, the muffins, which were prepared for Jack himself, for Jack. So, and you remember that Algernon was eating all the muffins. So, this is the third and the fourth crime. And what makes his conduct all the more heartless is that he was perfectly well aware from the first that I have no brother, that I never had a brother, and that I don't intend to have a brother, not even of any kind. I distinctly told him so myself yesterday afternoon. So when I had a talk with him in his residence, at his residence, I told him that I did not have a brother. So all these things is uh, accusing Algernon of doing all these things. Lady Bracknell, uh, so she understands the situation. Mr. Worthing, after careful consideration, I have decided entirely to overlook my nephew's conduct to you. So, well, Lady Bracknell is not going to attach much importance to these accusations. That is very generous of you, Lady Bracknell. My own decision, however, is unalterable. I decline to give my consent. To Cecily, come here, sweet child. Cecily goes over. How old are you, dear? Well, I am really only 18, but I always admit to 20 when I go to evening parties. So she's only 18 years old. Uh, but when she goes to attend parties, she says that she's 20 years old. You are perfectly right in making some slight alteration. Indeed, no woman should ever be quite accurate about her age. So, no woman should tell her age, her exact age, that is. It looks so calculating. So, obviously, it would appear that you are a very calculating kind of a woman. So, she's saying that you are not going to, should not be truthful uh, in a meditative manner. So she's thinking about the matter. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. Well, it will not be very long before you are of age and free from the restraints of my tutelage. So I don't think your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance. So she is thinking about these things, about the coming of age of Cecily. Now, tutelage means protection, of course. So she is under the protection of Jack, and Jack has decided not to give his consent to this marriage. But Lady Bracknell thinks that since in a few, it would not be very long, so in a short period of time, Cecily will attain the age of maturity. So she will be able to decide for herself. Pray excuse me, Lady Bracknell, for interrupting you again, but it is only fair to tell you that according to the terms of her grandfather's will, Miss Cardew does not come legally of age till she is 35. So it's really a long time. She would have to wait a long time. That does not seem to me to be a grave objection. 35 is a very attractive age. London society is full of women of the very highest birth who have, of their own free choice, remained 35 for years. So, this is another of Lady Bracknell's, her uh, lectures on society and the ways in which uh, people should behave. So she's saying that London society is full of women who remained unmarried till the age of 35, and uh, they actually said that they were 35, though, of course, perhaps they were older. Lady Dumbledon is an instance in point. To my own knowledge, she has been 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40, which was many years ago now. So, obviously, the older a woman becomes, she does not uh, reveal her own age, but she constantly maintains that she is 35 years old. So, 35 is a good age, it's a perfect age. I see no reason why our dear Cecily should not be even still more attractive at the age you mention than she is at present. There will be a large accumulation of property. So she's also thinking of the property that she will uh, get with the passing of time. So she will become extremely rich. Algie, could you wait for me till I was 35? So Cecily is a bit anxious. she asks Algernon. Of course I could, Cecily. You know I would. I could. So he is very enthusiastic about that. He's ready to wait. Yes, I felt it instinctively, but I couldn't wait all that time. Uh, I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anybody. It always makes me rather cross. I am not punctual myself, I know, but I do like punctuality in others. And waiting, even to be married, is quite out of the question. So Cecily is actually, she's saying that actually I had an intuition that you'd wait for me. But the problem is, I hate waiting for anybody for more than 5 minutes. So it makes me very irritable. Makes me cross means irritable. So I am not punctual myself, and I do not appreciate, but I appreciate punctuality in others. So she is not punctual herself, but she is appreciative of punctuality in others. But the fact is that waiting to be married is quite out of the question. Then what is to be done, Cecily? I don't know, Mr. Moncrief. My dear Mr. Worthing, as Miss Cardew states positively that she cannot wait till she is 35, a remark which I am bound to say seems to me to show a somewhat impatient nature. I would beg of you to reconsider your decision. So, Lady Bracknell appeals to Jack in the uh, since Cecily is not prepared to wait. But my dear Lady Bracknell, the matter is entirely in your own hands. The moment you consent to my marriage with Gwendolen, I will most gladly allow your nephew to form an alliance with my ward. So it depends entirely on you. If you give your consent to my marriage with Gwendolen, with your daughter, so obviously I will not withhold my consent. So the thing is, Jack is only trying to ensure his marriage, rising and drawing herself up. So she is uh, not going to give her consent. You must be quite aware that what you propose is out of the question. Then a passionate celibacy is all that any of us can look forward to. Passionate celibacy. Celibacy means obviously uh, being unmarried, the state of being unmarried. But passionate celibacy means when one has a strong desire to marry, but one has to remain unmarried. That is not the destiny I propose for Gwendolen. Algernon, of course, can choose for himself. Pulls out her watch. Come, dear. Gwendolen rises. We have already missed 5, if not 6, trains. To miss any more might expose us to comment on the platform. So she is not going to discuss matters anymore, and she is not going to sort of allow her daughter, Gwendolen, to remain a spinster all her life. So he decides to leave. Enter Dr. Chasuble. Everything is quite ready for the christenings. The christening, sir, is not that somewhat premature. So Lady Bracknell doesn't know about these christenings, which Jack and Algernon they have decided to undergo. Now Chasuble comes in and announces this, and Lady Bracknell say christenings when the marriage has not is not going to take place. So how will the christenings occur? So babies are christened. So she's saying that it's a bit premature, somewhat the ceremony of the babies who are not yet born. So looking rather puzzled and pointing to Jack and Algernon, both these gentlemen have expressed a desire for immediate baptism. So he makes it clear for Lady Bracknell that no babies are to be christened, but these gentlemen, Jack and Algernon, are to be christened. At their age, the idea is grotesque and irreligious. Algernon, I forbid you to be hot baptized. I will not hear of such excesses. Lord Bracknell would be highly displeased if he learned that that was the way in which you wasted your time and money. So Lady Bracknell, when she learns that at their age They want to be christened. The idea of christening at this stage is grotesque. It is absolutely uh, a grotesque thing and irreligious at the same time. And she is scandalized, and she says that Lord Bracknell will also be very much displeased. Am I to understand then that there are to be no christenings at all this afternoon? I don't think that, as things are now, it would be of much practical value to either of us, Dr. Chasuble. So Jack says that since things have turned in a different way, that is, Lady Bracknell is not giving her consent, and therefore he will not give his consent. So it is not going to help them. I am grieved to hear such sentiments from you, Mr. Worthing. They savor of the heretical views of the Anabaptists, views that I have completely refuted in four of my unpublished sermons. However, as your present mood seems to be one peculiarly secular, I will return to the church at once. Indeed, I have just been informed by the pew opener that for the last hour and a half, Miss Prism has been waiting for me in the vestry. So Dr. Chasuble is disappointed, and he says that I am extremely grieved by your statement, and your views reflect the views of the Anabaptists. Anabaptists were people who disapproved of this, uh, you know, ceremony of baptism. So they were not in favor of baptism. And he says that I have denounced them, uh, the Anabaptists, that is, in four of my unpublished sermons. So he has not published those sermons, or those sermons have not been published by anyone. So he's saying that since you have become secular, that is anti-religious, you are no longer religious, I will return to the church. And actually, the pew opener is an attendant who opens in the enclosed seats in church. So he has given him the information that Miss Prism is waiting there in the vestry. Now, vestry is a part of the church where the vestments or the clothing of the clergy are kept. So Miss Prism is waiting there for Dr. Chasuble. Staring, Miss Prism. Did I hear you mention a Miss Prism? Now, Lady Bracknell gets interested in this name because she feels that the name is familiar. Yes, Lady Bracknell, I am on my way to join her. Pray allow me to detain you for a moment. This matter may prove to be one of vital importance to Lord Bracknell and myself. If this Miss Prism, a female of repellent aspect, remotely connected with education, so she wants to know whether the Miss Prism she knows is a kind of a extremely unattractive kind of a woman, and she is connected with education, the sphere of education. Somewhat indignantly, she is the most cultivated of ladies and the very picture of respectability. So, Dr. Chasuble is not pleased with these remarks. It is obviously the same person. May I ask what position she holds in your household? So, she thought that she stayed with Dr. Chasuble, severely. I am a celibate, madam. I am a celibate, meaning I am a person who is single, unmarried. So I don't have any woman staying with me. Jack now interposes. Miss Prism, Lady Bracknell, has been for the last 3 years Miss Cardew's esteemed governess and valued companion. So Jack now tells Lady Bracknell about Miss Prism's position. In spite of what I hear of her, I must see her at once. Let her be sent for. So Lady Bracknell has become quite interested in Miss Prism. She feels that there is a mystery in this, and she wants to meet her. Looking off, she approaches. She is nigh. Enter Miss Prism hurriedly. So Miss Prism is coming quickly. I was told you expected me in the vestry, dear Canon. I have been waiting for you there for an hour and 3/4. So She had been waiting there for a long time, and for an hour and three quarters. Uh, Catches sight of Lady Bracknell, who has fixed her with a stony glare. Miss Prism grows pale and quails. She looks anxiously round as if desirous to escape. Now, there is this mystery about Miss Prism. Quail means to feel and show fear. So she is a bit fearful when she sees that it is Lady Bracknell who is looking at her, glaring at her. So she wants to escape, but it's not possible. In a severe judicial voice, Miss Prism bows her head in shame. Come here, Miss Prism. Miss Prism approaches in a humble manner. Prism, where is that baby? General consternation. So she's asking for a baby. So she's asking for the information related to a baby. So she knows Miss Prism, and there is a baby connected with her. General consternation, of course. Nobody can understand why Lady Bracknell is actually uh, referring to this baby. So everyone is alarmed. The canon starts back in horror. So obviously he thinks that she is an unmarried mother. Uh, Algernon and Jack pretend to be anxious to shield Cecily and Gwendolen from hearing the details of a terrible public scandal. 28 years ago, Prism, you left Lord Bracknell's house, number 104, Upper Grosvenor Street, in charge of a perambulator that contained a baby of the male sex. You never returned. A few weeks later, through the elaborate investigations of the Metropolitan Police, the perambulator was discovered at midnight, standing by itself in a remote corner of Bayswater. It contained the manuscript of a three-volume novel of more than usually revolting sentimentality. Miss Prism starts in involuntary indignation. But the baby was not there. Everyone looks at Miss Prism. Prism, where is that baby? A pause. So this is the mystery that Lady Bracknell is referring to. So Miss Prism was in charge of a baby in their house. And that was 28 years ago and a long time ago. And she was in charge of a perambulator. Now, a perambulator, as you all know, is a four-wheeled carriage for a baby. It's a pram where a baby is kept, and the baby is taken for a ride by the governess. So she was a governess there, and she had taken out that baby for a walk, that is for a stroll, but she did not come back. And after investigation, a few weeks later, the perambulator was discovered, but there was no baby in it, but there was a three-volume novel. So it was of a revolting, which was of a outrageously sentimental kind. Lady Bracknell, I admit with shame that I do not know. I only wish I did. The plain facts of the case are these. On the morning of the day you mention, a day that is forever branded on my memory, I prepared as usual to take the baby out in its perambulator. I had also with me a somewhat old but a capacious handbag in which I had intended to place the manuscript of a work of fiction that I had written during my few unoccupied hours. In a moment of mental abstraction for which I never can forgive myself, I deposited the manuscript in the bassinet and placed the baby in the handbag. So this is the story. So Miss Prism is saying that I admit with shame that I do not know what happened to that baby. I only wish I knew, and whatever I have said is true. So on that morning, on that fateful morning, which of course she will not be able to forget, it is imprinted upon her memory. She had taken that baby in that perambulator, and she also had a capacious handbag, meaning uh, a big handbag, where she had this manuscript of a novel she had written, three-volume novel. And uh, actually what happened in a moment of mental abstraction, that is forgetfulness. She placed the manuscript in the bassinet. Bassinet is the carriage for the baby, perambulator. So she took out the baby and she placed the baby in the handbag, and she had taken out the manuscript which was placed on the perambulator. So the baby and the manuscript were switched places. So the thing is now clear. Who has been listening attentively? But where did you deposit the handbag? Do not ask me, Mr. Worthing. So he is very interested because he was uh, he was found in a handbag, as you'd remember. I left it in the cloakroom. No, sorry. There's Jackie saying, Miss Prism, this is a matter of no small importance to me. I insist on knowing where you deposited the handbag that contained that infant. So he is suspecting that it was he himself. I left it in the cloakroom of one of the larger railway stations in London. So obviously, she had kept that handbag there. What railway station? Quite crushed, Victoria, the Brighton side, sinks into a chair. I must retire to my room for a moment. Gwendolen, wait here for me. So he is going to fetch that handbag. If you are not too long, I will wait here for you all my life. Exit Jack in great excitement. So Gwendolen is making a statement that I'll wait for you. I can wait for you for my whole life, provided you do not take too much time. So, another funny statement. What do you think this means, Lady Bracknell? I dare not even suspect Dr. Chasuble. I need hardly tell you that in families of high position, strange coincidences are not supposed to occur. Uh, they are hardly considered the thing. So, something has happened which is very important for all of them. Noises heard overhead, as if someone was throwing trunks about. Everyone looks up. Uncle Jack seems strangely agitated. Your guardian has a very emotional nature. This noise is extremely unpleasant. It sounds as if he was having an argument. I dislike arguments of any kind. They are always vulgar and often convincing. So Lady Bracknell is always arguing herself, but uh, she doesn't like arguments. That's what she says. Looking up, it has stopped now. The noise is redoubled. I wish you'd arrive at some conclusion. This suspense is terrible. I hope it will last. So she likes this suspense. Enter Jack with a handbag of black leather in his hand. Rushing over to Miss Prism. Is this the handbag, Miss Prism? Examine it carefully before you speak. The happiness of more than one life depends on your answer. So he has now produced that handbag. Miss Prism calmly, it seems to be mine. Yes, here is the injury it received through the upsetting of a Gower Street omnibus in younger and happier days. Here is the stain on the lining caused by the explosion of uh, a temperance beverage, an incident that occurred at Leamington. And here on the lock are my initials. I had forgotten that in an extravagant mood I had had them placed there. The bag is undoubtedly mine. I am delighted to have it so unexpectedly restored to me. It has been a great inconvenience being without it all these years. So the thing is settled. Uh, Miss Prism recognizes the handbag. Yes, this handbag certainly belongs to me. And there are a number of incidents that she remembers, which are connected with this handbag. In a pathetic voice, Miss Prism, more is restored to you than this handbag. I was the baby you placed in it. Miss Prism, amazed. You, Jack, embracing her. Yes, mother. So now Jack feels, or Jack is certain that Miss Prism is his mother. Recoiling in indignant astonishment, Mr. Worthing, I am unmarried. So obviously, Jack thinks he thinks that Miss Prism is his mother, but actually she is, of course, not his mother, and she declares that she is unmarried. Unmarried, I do not deny that that is a serious blow, but after all, who has the right to cast a stone against one who has suffered? Cannot repentance wipe out an act of folly? Why should there be one law for men and another for women? Mother, I forgive you, tries to embrace her again. So he doesn't consider it a very big fault. Still more indignant, Mr. Worthing, there is some error, pointing to Lady Bracknell. There is the lady who can tell you who you really are. So Lady Bracknell knows. After a pause, Lady Bracknell, I hate to seem inquisitive, but would you kindly inform me who I am? So the mystery can be unraveled by Lady Bracknell. I am afraid that the news I have to give you will not altogether please you. You are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother. So now the mystery has been resolved. So Jack is indeed Algernon's brother, elder brother. Algy's elder brother. Then I have a brother after all. I knew I had a brother. I always said I had a brother. So he's now ecstatic. Uh, he had always denied that he had a brother. Cecily, how could you have ever doubted that I had a brother? Says his older Algernon. Dr. Chasuble, my unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, my unfortunate brother. Gwendolen, my unfortunate brother. Algy, you young scoundrel, you will have to treat me with more respect in the future. You have never behaved to me like a brother in all your life. So now he is really very, very happy. Well, not till today, old boy, I admit. I did my best, however, though I was out of practice. Shakes hands, so the thing is resolved. To Jack, my own, but what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you have become someone else? So Gwendolen is still interested in his name. She's, of course, in love with that name, Ernest. Good heavens, I had quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose. I never change except in my affections. So Gwendolen declares pompously that she will not change or except in her affections. What a noble nature you have, Gwendolen, Cecily says. Then the question had better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, a moment. At the time when Miss Prism left me in the handbag, had I been christened already? Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents. So you had been christened and you had got every, uh, you know, uh, amenity. Then I was christened. That is settled. Now, what name was I given? Let me know the worst. So he is prepared to hear that he was not christened Ernest. Being the eldest son, you were naturally christened after your father. So obviously, you were christened by according to your father's name. It is the ritual. Irritably, yes, but what was my father's Christian name? So that is the important thing. Meditatively, I cannot at the present moment recall what the general's Christian name was, but I have no doubt he had one. He was eccentric, I admit, but only in later years. And that was the result of the Indian climate and marriage and indigestion and other things of that kind. So she is thinking about other things. She doesn't remember the name. And obviously, Jack is very much interested to know, he's dying to know the name. But Lady Bracknell goes on saying some other things. Algy, can't you recollect what our father's Christian name was? My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old, so obviously he was a baby. His name would appear in the army lists of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta. The general was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. But I have no doubt his name would appear in any military directory. So, since he was in the army, his name would appear in the army lists. The army lists of the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my constant study. rushes to bookcase and tears the books out. Generals Malton, Maxbaum, Magley, what ghastly names they have. Markby, Mixby, Mobbs, Moncrief, Lieutenant 1840, Captain, Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel General 1869. Christian names Ernest John. Puts the book very quietly down and speaks quite calmly. I always told you, Gwendolen, my name was Ernest, didn't I? Well, it is Ernest after all. I mean, it naturally is Ernest. So he was christened Ernest after his father. Yes, I remember that the general was called Ernest. I knew I had some particular reason for disliking the name. So Lady Bracknell now remembers, and she didn't like that name. Ernest, my own Ernest, Gwendolen is ecstatic. I felt from the first that you could have no other name. Gwendolen, it is a terrible thing for a man to find out suddenly that all his life he has been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me? So uh, he had been assuming that his name was Ernest, but it is the truth. He did not know that he really was called Ernest. I can, for I feel that you are sure to change. So you are going to lie from now on. So you're not going to speak the truth. My own one. Chasuble to Miss Prism, Letitia embraces her. Miss Prism enthusiastically. Frederick at last. Cecily embraces her at last. Gwendolen embraces her at last. So, three marriages are going to take place. My nephew is seem to be displaying signs of triviality. So, Lady Bracknell is not at all approving of his behavior. On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, Jack says, I have now realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being honest. So this honest is Earnest. So here it means that the last sentence of the play is a pun on the word honest, and it includes the title of the play. So obviously, Jack is saying that he has realized the importance of being honest. That is, not taking everything in a very, you know, uh, uh, not taking everything in a trivial way, taking being a bit serious. And the name is a great value, the name Ernest, because both Gwendolen and Cecily are in love with that name. So they would not marry any person who has any other name. So there is a pun on this word Ernest. Firstly, one should have a name Ernest to secure one's beloved, so to succeed in love, just as Jack and Algernon they have done. And secondly, one should be earnest in one's endeavors. So obviously, the play ends here, and as you can see, that it is a very funny play, and obviously the title comes in here, the importance of being earnest. So the title is important, and in the last part of the play we understand why Oscar Wilde called it the importance of being earnest. So earnest in both the senses, earnest being not being being serious, and also the name Ernest.